That continues to develop concern and outrage from city officials and residents following a fight that led to a deadly shooting last night on the near north side. 2 men were killed, 7 others were wounded outside the McDonald's near the Red Line stop at Chicago and State.
Quite a scene there. The 2 men have been identified and that McDonald's location is now closed. WGN's Julian Cruz begins our team coverage from Stroger Hospital tonight.
Either an older individual or a young man was trying to rob my son and his friend.
Kimberly Saunders describing the nightmare as her son Parnelius Saunders fights for his life in intensive care at Stroger Hospital with up to 9 bullet wounds in his body, according to his mother. It all started when the pair, who live in Old Town, went out for a bite to eat just after 10:30 last night.
I heard a round go off and I kept walking. And I walked up and my baby was there shot.
Saunders desperately applying pressure to her son's wounds when a Chicago police officer came to her aid in the immediate aftermath of last night's multiple shooting near Chicago and State.
I thank the officer that was there to help my son's wounds. He showed me how to cut his shirt open. He wrapped it up. So, officer, I would love to see you because you know I was telling you I was scared.
Saunders caught up in last night's chaotic scene just a week after last Saturday's shooting and unrest at Millennium Park.
That's not what we need in this moment.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot at a West Side press conference responding to reporters' questions about the idea of bringing in the National Guard to help quell the kinds of chaotic scenes witnessed last night.
The National Guard is not a panacea. The National Guard is a military force. They are trained not in civilian use of force, but in military use of force.
The city's mayor says the core problem is a dramatic uptick in juveniles carrying guns, a recipe for trouble, as evidenced by last night's shooting on the 800 block of North State. 2 people killed, with at least 7 others injured after fistfights devolved into gunfire.
There's a video pod camera that shows this block and shows this incident.
Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown announcing 2 arrests, including the gunman who appears to have been handed his weapon by another individual.
As soon as this gunman fires, he then flees, and our officers give chase. Flees down into the CTA platform with our officers close behind.
Tonight, pictures of the 2 individuals who were killed released publicly. Anthony Allen, 31 years of age, and Antonio Wade, 30 years old, succumbing to their injuries. Also being treated here at Stroger Hospital, a young woman who was last listed in critical condition. Sadly, she's said to have fallen on the Red Line tracks, and she was electrocuted at the station near State and Chicago. At Stroger Hospital, Julian Cruz, WGN News.
Well, people who were in the area when all that shooting happened were stunned by that violence.
And that McDonald's, as Julian reported, is closed tonight. WGN's Jewel Hillary picks up our team coverage from the near north side.
Hi, good evening, Lourdes and Ray. Well, there is definitely an increased police presence at the intersection of State Street and Chicago Avenue tonight after several people were shot at this intersection late last night. And additionally, tonight, we're learning from the city's Department of Buildings that the closure of the McDonald's at this intersection was not closed as a direct result of last night's violence.
And just to think, like, the shooting happened 3 minutes before I went downstairs, like, it's just so crazy.
The shooting that killed 2 men and left several wounded Thursday night at the corner of State Street and Chicago Avenue.
1820, there's one down inside the McDonald's.
Took Felicia Uriostegui by surprise.
There was just a lot of yelling upstairs, and you could hear, like, the gunshots being fired.
While the gunfire took place on the street and not inside of the McDonald's, the fast food restaurant was inspected by the city's Department of Buildings early on Friday. It is now shut down because of an electrical issue and considered dangerous and hazardous.
This is very standard fare. They put a close order on. That McDonald's will have to come back into compliance before it can reopen.
A representative with the Department of Buildings tells WGN that the inspection was part of a typical protocol involving the Department Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, the Department of Buildings, and the Chicago Police Department, often after police activity. The Department of Buildings representative also says the electrical issue at McDonald's is not related to Thursday's shooting, which dozens of people caught the aftermath of.
I was personally driving and just a little nervous about, is it safe right here? Should I just drive by? Should I go around the corner maybe? 42nd Ward Alderman Brendan Riley sent this letter to Superintendent David Brown requesting a response in writing detailing CPD's plans to better protect residents in his ward. In that letter, the alderman also shares this. I am disappointed in the administration's actions to take this incident out on an independent business franchise owner. The shooting did not originate, nor did it take place inside McDonald's located at 10 East Chicago Avenue. The shooting occurred after the business made the swift decision to close their doors to protect their employees due to a lack of security on the Red Line. Now, Alderman Riley's note to Superintendent David Brown also asks for a long-time solution to secure the CTA and protect all downtown residents. For now, reporting live at the intersection of State Street and Chicago Avenue on the near north side, I'm Jewel Hillary, WGN News.
All right, Jewel.